We want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, intellect is expanded, and one can stand on one's own feet. Every child is a genius waiting to be awakened. We provide that Midas touch by encouraging students to innovate, introspect, and improve their skills. Welcome. Welcome to excellence. Welcome to Dr. Cyrus Poonawalla International School. Located at Peth, Vadgaon, a town in the laps of the Sahyadri Ranges with a rich cultural background and blessed with natural beauty. This is an ideal location for students to have stress-free education. CBSE affiliated Dr. Cyrus Poonawalla International School and our sister concern Srimati Vijaya Devi Yadav Pre-Primary School are the constituents of Shri Shahu Shikshan Prasarak Seva Mandal, Peth, Vadgaon.
We have started Dr. Cyrus Poonawalla International School in the year 2011 at Peth, Vadgaon. Our main purpose was to provide quality education. Here we are providing education from nursery to 12th standard. We are having adequate staff to give quality education to the students. We have created all the required facilities available for overall development of the students, by way they can become responsible and disciplined citizens of this great country.
Together, we promote growth, creativity, and inspired learning from nursery to grade 12. Children learn through play. Experiences of touching, moving, listening, seeing, and hearing make the process fun. Srimati Vijaya Devi Yadav Pre-Primary School provides such a learning environment for children based on their ages, interests, and levels of development. The teachers provide pastoral care with personal attention to each child. Here, every child is not only completely protected but also carefully nurtured. In line with our school's philosophy, we have collaborated with the Ramakrishna Mutt, which helps our students imbibe Indian values, homely environment, and inclusive education foster complete personality development. Ethics and social accountability are an indispensable part of our school system. We have designed an engaging, relevant, and challenging curriculum that promotes understanding, which further emphasizes on science, technology, engineering, and math, as well as overall intellectual, emotional, and physical development. It prepares students to be 21st century citizens in a competitive world. Research suggests that children indulging in sports tend to concentrate better on academics. Sports activities thus have become an integral part of life at our school, with specially designed playgrounds having modern amenities and equipment. Dr. Cyrus Poonawalla International School is a vibrant learning premise of holistic growth, education that transforms lives, imparts values, and creates a lifelong learner. with a strong focus on academics. We thrive to inspire, support, and nurture our multicultural students to be well-educated and empathetic global citizens. Beyond the walls of our classrooms, our cutting-edge computer, science, and technology infrastructure is made available to stimulate learning and encourage our students to embrace innovation. Our library has the wherewithal to stimulate young minds and foster the spirit of inquiry and learning. Replete with books, periodicals, journals, all in a magnificent 3,250 square feet expanse. Invites young learners to explore. Students are encouraged to interact and broaden their perspective by being exposed to truly life-changing activities like trekking, disaster management, and various other workshops. Here, they can learn foreign languages like Japanese, thus opening up bright prospects for JLPT exams and great job opportunities both here and abroad. In a healthy body resides a healthy mind. We have a full-time doctor, counselor, and yoga teacher. Students here enjoy hygienic, healthy meals and are monitored round the clock.
Good morning, everyone present over here. On behalf of Dr. Cyrus Poonawalla International School, allow me to extend a warm welcome to you. It is an immense pleasure for me that you attended the students' orientation. Let me introduce myself. I am Master Kshitij Jadhav and I am here to accompany you as a host. Let me take this opportunity to introduce you to our dignitaries. Let us welcome our Honorable Dr. Sardar Jadhav Sir, Principal DCPIS. Respected Nizam Buraha Sir, Chief Guest. Dr. Madhvi Sawant Ma'am, School Doctor and Counselor, DCPIS. Saga Fernandez Sir, TGT Coordinator, DCPIS. Ms. Minal Patil Ma'am, PRT Coordinator, DCPIS. Ms. Chitra Ma'am, Upper Secondary in charge, DCPIS. Ms. Sayogita Ma'am, Lower Primary in charge, DCPIS. And all my respected teachers and buddies. Now I call upon Ms. Minal Patil Ma'am to give a brief introduction to this program.
Thank you, Kshitij. Thank you very much. Good morning, one and all present over here. On behalf of Dr. Cyrus Poonawalla International School, today's guest, Honorable Mr. Nizam Barua, Distinguished Principal of DCPIS, Dr. Sardar Jadhav, HR of DCPIS, Mr. Abhishek Undare, Doctor and Counselor, Dr. Madhavi Sawant, TGT Coordinator, Mr. Sagar Rande, both in charges, dear teachers, and the dearest student. It gives me immense pleasure to extend you all very warm greetings and welcome you all on the occasion student orientation. Dear students, to grace this occasion, here we have in our family Mr. Nizam sir. It is my pleasure and privilege to introduce today's guest, Mr. Nizam Barua sir, youth motivational speaker, communication and public speaking trainer, and content creator. Mr. Nizam is a young mind who is on a mission to help people achieve exponential growth in life through better communication and speaking skills. His passion for performing and traveling and engagements led him to complete his MBA in sales and marketing. However, throughout his academic life and professional career, he acknowledged a huge gap between mind and mouth. Despite of having ideas, thoughts, and opinions, people fail to express them due to lack of communication skills. And he has spoken across various educational institutes, corporate webinars, events, and seminars in India. So guys, we are very fortunate to have such a versatile personality here in the DCPS family. So I won't increase your curiosity. Let me take a pause, and once again, I would like to welcome all the dignitaries in DCPS fraternity, on behalf of DCPS fraternity. Thank you very much, all of you, and once again, welcome. Over to you, Kshitij.
Thank you, ma'am. Your words clarified this program. In this occasion, we do remember and pay a mark of tribute and homage to Goddess Saraswati, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Vivekanand, and late Vijay Singh Yadav. On this account, let's move on to the photo pujan. That really pured this session. Here we have completed photo pujan, which is a great humility. Now we are blessed. With this blessing, we are moving ahead. So the first question in our mind, why orientation? The answer is that it is so necessary to enhance the qualitative personality development of the younger generations. I want my audience to understand that at the very end of this program, you will get to know an important life skill, that is self-branding. In this 21st century, proficiency, perception, skills, and self-branding are important keys to success. So I'm very glad to introduce you to our today's chief guest, Nizam Barua sir. As Minal ma'am introduced, Nizam sir is a youth motivational speaker, communication and public speaking trainer, content creator, and voice-over artist. Nizam is a young mind who is on a mission to help people achieve the exponential growth in their life through better communication and speaking skills. His passion for performing, traveling, and engagement led him to complete his MBA in sales and marketing. However, throughout his academic life and professional career, he had acknowledged a huge gap between mind and mouth. Despite having brilliant ideas, thoughts, and opinions, people fail to express them due to lack of communication skills. He has spoken across various education institutes, corporates, webinars, events, and seminars in India. Now I request Nizam sir to please speak a few words.
Thank you so much, Kshitij, and it's superb to see the energy in the room. Am I completely audible? Just give me a thumbs up.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much. So it's so good to see the energy that's here. I mean, it just took me back to my old school days with with Kshitij, with all the faculty members. First of all, thank you so much for having me. Abhishek, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of such an eminent and energetic room. And it's always good to meet people like you, and connect with all of you guys and share stories and add value to life. And I'm sure there's a lot we can learn from each other as well. So as it goes in my bio, you've written, you guys have spoken about it, that I'm there to enhance people's motivation, enhance people's communication skills and personality development. Now, a lot of people might ask, what's the significance of it? I mean, why would people really want to enhance their communication, really want to create a brand amongst themselves? So I want to start with a story. However, I'm going to give you a brief before going ahead. So when we use the word brand, so what resonates with your mind? Okay. So let's take an example. When you think of Nike, you don't think of burgers, right? When you think of Nike, you think of sports, you think of shoes, you think of energy, you think of enthusiasm. In the similar way, when you think of McDonald's, you don't think of sports, you don't think of shoes, you think about food, you think about burgers, you think about French fries. Or all of you who haven't had breakfast, I'm just giving you a moment to starve a bit more and think about fries and burgers again here. So, that's how branding works. You associate with a few specific adjectives to your name, and that's how it goes on. Let's say, for example, in this panel, so there's one person that I know very closely, which is Abhishek. So there are few traits that associates with Abhishek. Now, Abhishek, as I know, is a very jolly person. Okay, he's very jolly. The one thing that also associates with his branding is he's pretty much active on a lot of activities or on a lot of participation that happens around in college. So these are two, three adjectives I associate with his brand name. Similarly, with my brand name, there are few things goes with my branding. First of all is a speaker branding. That when people look at me, they look at me as a speaker. When people look at me, they look at me as someone who has a lot of energy. When they look at me, first thing they would want, bro, I have a speech 3 days, in the next 3 days. What should I do to make my speech a lot better? So these are a kind of branding that people associate with my name. And this is what we will be discussing today in this brief session. How, through better communication and through better brand for yourself. Have you seen this movie? So in the movie Gabbar, so there is this villain, Digvijay Patil, who would consistently tell about himself. I'm a brand. I'm a brand. So he is a brand. You can resonate with that movie. He definitely is a brand because he has a lot of businesses. He's a politician, and that's what associate with his brand. And his brand value creates more opportunities for you. That's the significance of branding. Branding is a magnet to bring opportunities to yourself. When you brand yourself as an ambassador or as an expert in a specific field, that's when people who would or who can use your expertise will be automatically attracted to you. So that's the significance of branding. And we're going to use communication to know how we can brand ourselves better. All right. So most of the people here are school students, and I want to share a brief story about myself. How I figured out my public speaking journey and how I understood that this is what I want to do. And this dates back in college. I'm sure you guys have school assemblies in the morning, and in your school assemblies there is always a particular class who would present on that day. It can be news, thought, prayer. So do you have that? Give me a thumbs up. Great. So you guys have that. So, you know, when this is the culture that is being followed throughout. I'm a Kendra Vidyalaya student. I've studied in Kendra Vidyalaya, and we did it back in our schools as well. So I remember I was in class 9th, and then I was asked to prepare news for that day, and I was scared like anything. I mean, I was dead. I mean, oh my God, I cannot do this. This is not what I'm made for. Because of the fear of public speaking, because of the fear of coming in front of people, because of the fear of showing my potential to people. And that's what most of us are scared of. You know what? Public speaking is the number one fear on the planet. So, from a research study, if you are given a choice, either you want to die or you want to go out and speak in public, people would actually choose to die rather than going out and speak in public. That's how dreadful public speaking is. Trust me. And they are to a great extent true about it. So when I was given, that opportunity to go and give speech, or sorry, to give news, so what happened was I was actually preparing myself for that news throughout the day. I was preparing myself throughout the day. I was preparing myself
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm extremely sorry. I just had a power cut, so my laptop and all of those things are shut down. I'm very sorry for that. So yeah, let's leave it. Let's take it ahead from where we started. So when I was when I was given this opportunity to speak or give the news, I've actually prepared about it throughout my entire week, and I've forgotten the fact that I had to give the news which was just one day before and not which was from a week back. I've actually forgotten that. But that day came and I hit the stage. My legs were shivering, my hands were trembling, and I just did not know what to do. But I went there and I spoke my heart out. I gathered all my courage and I spoke my heart out. And once the assembly was done, all of us are walking through the stairs, and there's this group of these people, okay? And they told me this thing: Zong, you can actually speak, yeah? You should do it more often. And I was like, can I? Okay. Was I able to do that? And that's when I figured out that I wouldn't have been aware about this capability if I never tried. And that's what most of us miss. All of the opportunities coming our way, we actually do not take most of them. And that is the reason we are never able to figure out what we are good at. And this is one thing that we have to be very, very careful about. So
This is a brief story of how I started my public speaking journey. And I'm going to give you a few theories. So what I mean by theories is just a brief about communication, about public speaking, about different elements and the types of communication that are there, so that you guys can understand the foundation. Because what happens, in order to make a house, your pillars or the foundation at the bottom have to be the most strongest. And I'm going to give you a few foundations which are going to help you down the line as well. Number one, so what is communication? Communication, in very layman and simple terms, it is the transfer of information from point A to point B. All right. When you want to send a message or an argument or a discussion or an information or any values, you transfer it from one place to another. So there has to be two things here. One is point A and one is point B. Now, in point B, it doesn't matter how many people are sitting. It can be one individual, it can be two people, or it can be a group of people as well. Just the way we are doing at this point of time, I'm imparting value to a whole lot segment of brilliant people here. So that's, that's the basic quintessential of communication. Now, there are different types of communication as well. One is oral communication. Second is non-verbal communication. The third is written communication. And the fourth is signages communication. Oral communication, on very simple note, it's just the way we are doing now. I'm giving you an oral description of communication. Second is written communication. Letters, emails, applications, these all are letter formats of communication. Next is signages. Do you remember, walking by your market and see the signages of the shops? They are also communicating. They are also sending out a message. The name there, the tagline there, writing about what you find in the shop is also a kind of communication, which is known as signages communication. And the fourth, which is very important, non-verbal communication. Now, a lot of you might think, now what is non-verbal communication? Well, non-verbal communication inclines to body language, your voice tonality, your facial expressions, your hand gestures. These are the things that are included in non-verbal communication. Now, a lot of people, you might ask, what is the significance of non-verbal communication? Now, let me tell you about a researcher. There was a research done back in the 1960s by the UCLA University. And in that university, they figured out one trait, that in a communication process, only 7% is dedicated to the words that we speak. So the words that I'm speaking now is only the 7%, and the rest of the 93% of the communication is the body language, which means how we speak that out. And that shows what is the importance of non-verbal communication. So in very simple terms, let's say you guys are, you guys want to say that, I'm actually feeling, I'm actually feeling sick today. So how do you actually say this, that I'm actually feeling sick today? You say in this manner, you know what, I'm actually feeling sick today. Just like that, right? Or do you say, hey, I'm actually feeling sick today? You don't do that, right? Your body language is not matching the communication that you want to put out. So that's what's the importance of non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is how you are saying that word, and that's the emotion. It evokes the emotion in people, and that's where you are able to send out the right message to it. So these are the four different types of communication. Now let's focus on the elements of communication. Which are the different elements of communication? Number one, there has to be a source, which is, for example, me at this point of time, from where the message is going. Second, there has to be a message. What is the message? The message is the exact thing that you want to communicate from point A to point B. Okay, so that's the message. Number three is the medium. Just like Zoom is a medium here, just like online platform is a medium here, that's how a medium has to be. It can be a stage, it can be a platform, it can be a group of people, it can be a seminar, it can be a webinar. These are mediums through which the message transfers from one place to another. Fourth is the audience. you definitely want someone to listen to your message, right? So when you want someone to listen to your message, your audience has to be there, irrespective of the fact there's one individual, there's two individual, or there is 3 to 4 individual, or a group of people, doesn't matter. But there has to be an audience. And the last, which is very, very important element, is the effect of that communication. So what do I mean by the effect of that communication? What I mean by that is, what do you want people to do after you are done with the message? Because your branding would associate with a few things that you associate with, right? So you would always want to put out a branding there by an effect that you create at the end. And that effect can be anything for that matter. You might want people to, exercise. You want people to eat healthy food. You might want people to take an action, or it can be from anything for that matter. So all of these things actually relate, or all of these things actually communicate with the branding that you associate with, hence the effect that you want to create at the end. Guys, just give me 1 second, just give me one moment. Yes, I am so sorry for this. The network is fluctuating like crazy, so I actually have to keep on switching from Wi-Fi to the other places. Please excuse me for that. I'm sure a lot of you face that glitch as well. So going back, the elements of communication are the source, the message, the medium, the audience, and the effect that you want to create. So that's enough of theory for the day. Now, I'm going to tell you a few day-to-day executions, a few things that you can do on your day-to-day life to enhance your communication skills and better your branding. So all the students and all the teachers here, you might want to keep a notepad, because it's not going to be a boring session, but the executions that I will be giving you, these are the things that I have been doing all my life, and I have been able to improvise. I do it now as well, and I want you guys to incorporate the same in your day-to-day schedule as well. Because what do we think is, in order to learn a skill, we just have to do it one day and then we are done. It's actually not like that. To all the women in the house, I'm sure all of you who can cook, the art of cooking did not came to you in one day. It came to you over a period of time when you were doing it consistently again and again, right? That's exactly with communication as well. Now let's shift to the male. So all of the male here, who know driving, or people who know cycling, you did not learn cycling in just one day, right? You took time to compound that experience, and finally one fine day you were able to pedal completely. So it was compounded over time. Exactly with communication as well. Your communication skills have to be fostered every day so that you master it over a period of time. All of the people, you'll find a lot of online courses who would say, learn communication in 6 hours, in 30 days. I suggest try not to go for them, because it's all about executions that you do. And the simple tricks that I'm going to give you today, if you perform it on your day-to-day life, you're going to see drastic results down the line. Okay, are we all super excited for this? Lovely. Let's just go ahead, and I'll tell you about one thing that I do every day: reading. A lot of you might think, why reading is important? I mean, what is the significance of reading? I want to talk. What is the connection of reading and talking? Now, let me tell you why you should read more. Number one reason: when you read more, you are more exposed to better scenarios. And then those articulations are projected in your communication skills as well. Because what happens when you are saying, or when you're delivering a message, if you're able to articulate in such a way that is more comprehensive in nature, what I mean by comprehensive is, which is easily understandable by people, then it's a better communication. Then it's a good communication. Then your message went from point A to point B. A lot of times people are not able to articulate what they are trying to put across, it's because they try to use a lot of jargons, or they are not much aware how to deliver that, proposition to people. And this is when reading comes in the picture. When you read more, your articulation enhances. Number two, your vocabulary gets better over time. And in a short while, I'm going to tell you how to enhance your vocabulary, because most of you want to speak better and your vocabulary plays a major role. I'm just going to tell you how to enhance your vocabulary. But first, let me focus on why your vocabulary enhances, or why reading enhances your vocabulary to a greater extent. Because when you read, or when you read different genres of book, you are exposed to different kinds of words. Let's say, for example, one writer which we all know, which is Chetan Bhagat, and there's one more writer which we all know, which is Dan Brown. Okay, so the writings of these two are very, very different. Dan Brown uses pretty heavy words, which I would not suggest at the beginner level. But Chetan Bhagat's language is very, very fluent and very, very easily understandable. So these are two different genres, and they expose you to different vocabularies. And when you read them down the line, you can incorporate those words in your written and in your speaking communications as well. So that's the second point. The third most valuable point is your sentence formation becomes much better. So a lot of times you have knowledge scattered here and there, okay? But scattered knowledge is of no use if you're not able to put it in an aligned manner. That's the same thing that happens when you begin from class 1, you cannot jump on to class 5. You got to go through class 2, 3, and 4 in between. That's exactly what happens with most of speakers, is that we fail to articulate, or we fail to phrase our sentences in a better manner, because we are not aware of which sentence goes after that, or what are the punctuations that we use, or what are the grammatical errors that we might make. And this reading habit actually helps you to enhance your sentence formation, to enhance your grammatical mistakes as well. So these are the three things why you should read, and these are directly inclined to your speaking skills as well. One is it enhances your vocabulary. Second, it enhances your sentence formation. And third, it makes you better articulators. Now, I'll be doing this, I'll be repeating the sentences over and over again, because of one reason is when I repeat more, your retention of those sentences is much higher. So I want you to go back after this seminar with some values. So that's the reason I will be repeating it, because repetition is one of the major ways how you help retaining an idea in the brains of people who are listening to you. So that's that. Now, I will be suggesting you 2 books. So all the students here, you might want to note down these 2 books, and these 2 books have helped me back in my school days to enhance my communication skills as well. Number 1, from this writer, Ernest Hemingway. Okay, and the name of the book is The Old Man and the Sea. Again, Ernest Hemingway, and the name of the book is Old Man and the Sea. The second book is Empty Worlds by John Christopher. Empty Worlds by John Christopher. Now, you got to ask me, why would you want me to, read these books? Now, a lot of us are under the habit in school that we will only read the books that are given to us from the school, which you must do. Please do it. But I suggest, whenever you get time, always read something beyond your school's curriculum as well. And these 2 books would help you improvise on your English communication skills. So grab your copies today, and all the school authorities, if you can bring multiple copies for your students, is going to be very helpful for them to enhance their speaking skills as well. Okay, so I've just given the school authorities an extra task, so pardon me for that. All right, so now let's go to the execution part. So most of you might be thinking, okay, you have given us why we should read more. So now I'll tell you how you should read, on a day-to-day basis, how you should read. First of all, choose a topic of your interest. Now, most of the times, a lot of people read things that they cannot sustain for a longer duration. The reason being that is not a topic of their interest. Now, most of you here, I'm assuming you might like cricket, you might like games, or you might like reading about things that you want to pursue down the line. It can be being an astronaut, it can be being an IAS, IPS, it can be being an architect or an engineer, anything for that matter. So choose a book of your choice which has an easy language. Okay. Now, once you're done with a book of your choice, every day take out 30 minutes before going to bed and read the book. Now, why I'm saying before going to bed, because what happens is when we hit the bed, our brain is still functioning, although we are asleep. It's called as a theta state. So when our brain is in the theta state, it keeps on analyzing what has happened to us throughout the day or what has happened to us in the past. And that's why we have dreams of the past. Okay. So why you should read before going to bed every day is because when you read 30 minutes before going to bed, your brain during sleep gets time to process that data. And this is science that's speaking. I do it every day, and it has helped me retain more words, retain more of the stories that I read from all the novels that comes across. So 30 minutes of the book, which is one of your favorite, read it before going to bed, and keep a diary with you. Why do you want to keep a diary with you? It's because when you keep a diary along your side, whenever you come across a tough word, write it down in that diary. We tend to skip that word. So write it down in that diary. So let's say today I was reading and I found 10 different tough words. Okay. Now, what I would do is I would actually note those words down in the diary. Okay. And then I'd go and find the meaning of the word. Okay. Now you might think that, okay, now I know the meaning of the word, so I'm done. No, you're not done here. You don't have the retention of the word in your brain as of yet. So once you know the meaning of the word, go out there and use it in your conversation. Okay, use it in your conversation so that once you use it more often, then it becomes an inculcation for you, then it becomes an ingrained memory for you. So when we come across a new word, which is, let's say, quintessential. Okay, now a lot of people might not know the meaning of quintessential. Now quintessential means necessary. So what we need to do is, so when we use the word quintessential in our day-to-day life, we replace it with the word necessary. Now let's say, water is a quintessential element of life. Okay, now we have replaced the word necessary with quintessential. So what has happened now, when we use the word quintessential more, we know the meaning of it, we have used it in different sentences, and now we will be able to use it more and more whenever we communicate or whenever we write as well. Okay, so that's how you incorporate, that's how you read, and that's how you phrase the sentences in your memory. So that's a bit about reading. So are we good so far? Give me a thumbs up. Great. We are superb so far. Then love to see the energy in the room. I mean, I've spoken to so many colleges. I've just recently spoken to INIFD, but I have to admit this class has a lot of energy, so much of enthusiasm. So kudos to you guys. Give a big round of applause to yourself. So that's with reading. Thank you so much, guys. So that's with reading. Now let's move on to watching people. Now let's move on to analyzing people. Now let's move on to examining people. So a lot of you might think that, okay, because a lot of you come across a lot of speakers in different platforms, and you might think that, you know what, I want to speak like this guy, or I want to speak like this girl. He is such a charming personality. She has such great pronunciations of words. You might want to speak like them, and which is a great trait, by the way. Okay, which is a great trait, by the way. And what I want you to take from here is, you should not be speaking like them. You should be speaking like you. But what you need to do is, you should take the best of their skills and abilities. Okay, so you take the best of their skills and abilities and incorporate it in your own communication, in your own talk. Because what happens is, a lot of people, people try to be someone else. And when you try to be someone else, your authentication fades away, which means your self-branding becomes very different. So, let's say these duplicates of Bollywood stars. Okay, so you come across the duplicates of Amitabh Bachchan, you come across the duplicates of Shah Rukh Khan. Now, these people have made their branding in such a manner that their own identity has faded away. When you see them, the only thing you would recognize is, hey, this guy looks like Amitabh Bachchan. He is the mimicry. He does mimicry of Amitabh Bachchan too good. Now, look at the branding that he has created. His personal branding has faded away. Now, this guy has a branding of someone else, which is Amitabh Bachchan. That's not what we want to do. We want to create an identity of ourselves. So what we do is, when we look at, let's say, for example, Amitabh Bachchan or Shah Rukh Khan speaking, we take the best of their traits and try to incorporate in our own communication and in our own process. Okay. Now, here are a few things that you need to incorporate, or here are a few things that you need to watch when you are looking or when you are analyzing a communicator, just the way you are analyzing me at this point of time. Okay, so here's first thing that you need to look at. What kind of a body language that these people are using? Okay, start making notes now. So what kind of body language that these people are using? What kind of hand gestures they are doing? What kind of body movements that they are doing? What is the voice pitch, or what is the voice tonality that they might be using? So these are the things that you need to watch out from them. Okay, and there's one thing that I really want you to look from these people as well. One of the thing is, I want you to focus on, what is the kind of storytelling that these people are using. Now, let's keep the storytelling session for another day, because that is a very elaborate and in a detailed format. So the authorities, if they like my session today, I would request you to organize another session on storytelling, because storytelling is such a crucial element. It connects you with people. It helps you understand what people are saying, because when you connect through emotions, that is when people are able to take your message home in a much better manner. You can always give them statistics, you can always give them numbers, but when you give them your story and when you send the message through your story, there are more people who would listen to you, there are more people who would pay attention to you, and there are more people who would be likely to take your message back home. Okay, so this is something that you definitely need to focus. And again, now I would tell you a few speeches that you need to go and watch in YouTube. It is absolutely for free. Okay, so as I've told you, which are the things that you need to focus on. I hope you've made notes of it. And if the college authority wants, you guys can go back and check with the students as well if they've done the work or not. But here are a few speeches that you need to check out. Okay, number one, keep notes. John F. Kennedy's "We Choose to Go to the Moon." Okay, I'll repeat myself. John F. Kennedy's "We Choose to Go to the Moon." Okay, that's one speech that you need to look at in the internet. Number two, Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream." Okay, Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream." And then the next one, the last one, is Barack Obama's presidential inauguration talks. I'm so sorry, I keep on forgetting the names, but yeah, Barack Obama's presidential talk. Okay, I'm going to repeat those names again. John F. Kennedy's "We Choose to Go to the Moon," Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream," Barack Obama's inaugural presidential speech. Now, these are the speeches in combination would actually help you understand about storytelling, about connecting with your audience, about body language, and about sentence formation and using the right words. Okay, so this is a brief about watching people. Now let's move on to this thing which is known as practice. A lot of you might be wanting, what is practice and what do we do about and how do we practice it? Back in the summers when me and my cousins used to meet. So there's something that we used to do, and this is whenever we met in summers or whenever we met during the weekends, what we did is, we guys were horrible at English public speaking, by the way. So what we did, we started doing an exercise, and the exercise is, we used to speak in English throughout the entire time that we guys are together. Yes, we used to speak in English. Doesn't matter how bad we speak, doesn't matter how horrible we speak, doesn't matter how bad we are able to articulate ourselves, but we try to speak in English at that point of time. Now, pay close attention here. We guys were the participants, as well as we guys were the evaluators as well. So we were 6-7 cousins, and we used to speak in English in throughout the day. And whenever one of us used to make a mistake, there is other people who would actually help them rectify the mistakes. So if I mispronounced a word, that's when my cousin sister would come. Hey, you guy, you are actually mispronouncing this word. This is how you are said. Oh, great. So now we guys are the evaluators and we guys are the participants as well. And this is the exercise that we were doing as cousins back in school. And I cannot tell you how crazy impact it has had in our communication skills as well, because it all boils down to participation. A lot of us in our classrooms, most of us are not able to, are not able to speak because we guys are fearful that whether we will be judged or not. Now, I'll tell you one thing down the line. I mean, I'll tell you a secret by the end of this session, and that mindset is going to change you wholesome about your public speaking approach. Okay. Now that we should keep that till the end. So, that fear is what stops us from participating in class, right? So what I urge you to do is you should be participating more and more, despite of the fact that your answers are right or wrong, because it builds your confidence. Confidence is just like cooking. Confidence is like riding a bicycle. Confidence is like hitting the stage more often. Why? Because confidence compounds over time. It's like putting money in the bank and then bank giving you an interest for a fixed deposit. That's exactly what happens with confidence. Your confidence enhances and improves with time. And that's what you guys should be doing as well. So participate more, take more, take more participation in your classroom sessions, in your stage shows, in your debates and all of these things, because you do not have to be the best in doing that, or you do not have to win those competitions. But trust me, when you do it more often, your confidence level enhances time to time. I'm so sorry, it's 11:45. I'm going to take 5 more minutes. Okay. I know it's a Q&A session. So I'm going to take 5 more minutes and finish it up real quick because it's very important. So the one thing that I want you to do back in your home, because a lot of you might think, okay, you know what, I'm a little shy, so I want something easy to do back at my house. So how can I do it? Here's what you need to do. I'm sure all of you have smartphones, right? So a lot of people might go out there and tell you, speak in front of the mirror. But that's one of the most horrible things. Do not do it. Why? I'll tell you. Speaking in front of the mirror doesn't give you a feedback. You do not get a feedback when you speak in front of the mirror. So use your smartphone, choose a paragraph of your choice and start speaking about it, and record yourself while you speak yourself. Okay. So once you're done speaking that, go back to the recording and see where are the places that you have paused, which are the words that were tough to use. Okay. What is the kind of body language that you were using, and where are the places that you can improvise on? Okay. So these are the things that you definitely need to focus on. And that's what video does. You are being your own self improver. You are being your own evaluator. Okay. And this is the first step. If you're very shy, this is the first step that you definitely should go out and do at your homes as well. One other thing, do not stop there, because you have to take it to the next level. Once you have acquainted, or once you feel that, okay, you know what, I am actually good at speaking this out now it's time to take yourself to the next level, because once you get comfortable with speaking and speaking in front of the video, if you do it more often, you would be only restricted to that. It's time to break that shell now and move on to the next level. The next level is find a specific set of people which are non-judgmental to you. Now I'll tell you why you have to find a specific set of people, or why you have to speak in a controlled environment, is because initially, if you go out there might be chances of people, who might demoralize you. So your moral might go down and you might not be able to speak again in a much better way. So I want you to do it in a closed environment first. Your best friends, your faculties here, your family members who are pretty much close to you. So you should be speaking in front of these guys, because they will be giving you constructive criticisms. What I mean by constructive criticisms is, where are the scopes that you need to improvise on? They will genuinely tell you, this is something that you can do better. So you might want to work on these things. And these constructive criticisms will help you improvise on your skills on a day-to-day basis as well. Okay, so these are the two things that you need to do if you're very shy. One is make videos, record them, and try making, try being your own evaluators. And the second thing is find a close group and try practicing that so that you get the constructive criticisms there. Okay, so these are the few executions that I want you guys to do. We're really running short of time, so I'm going to give you a simple mantra at the end. Okay, so the mantra is, whenever you're hitting the stage, or whenever we are going out and doing public speaking, we actually go out there with the mindset that people are there to judge us, people are there to make fun of us, people are there to make a mockery of us. So when we do that, that's actually how we are triggering our fear to consume us. But let me tell you how to shift your mindset and let fear be a channel to perform better in the stage. Okay, people are there not to judge you, people are actually there to motivate you. Now let me tell you why. Now as I'm doing public speaking here and all of you are listening to me, you guys have invested your time in me. You guys have invested today to understand about communication, to understand about public speaking. Is there any reason for you to make fun of me? No, right? Exactly the point. Whenever you're hitting the stage, people are not there to make fun of you because they have invested their time, they've invested their money to listen to you, to get value from you. So they are actually there to motivate you. And I want you to take this as a lesson. Whenever you hit the stage, never think that people are there to, make a mockery out of you. People are there to motivate you. People are there to listen to you. People are there to clap for you. People are there to give you a cheer. People are there to give you a thumbs up. And when you go out there and when you repeatedly say this to yourself before hitting the stage, your fear levels go down and your confidence level goes up. And when this happens, whenever you hit the stage, your performance or your conversation or your communication or your speech becomes from level 5 to level 8, 9, 10, and so on. So that's the mantra I want to leave you guys with. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Thank you so much, all the faculty members. Thank you so much, all the students, for giving me a patient listening. And if you have any questions, I am super excited to take them right now.
I am very glad to say thank you for your words of wisdom. Your guidance will always be in our inspiration. After listening to the new views, many questions come to our students' mind, so we are here to move toward the question and answer session. So students, please raise the hand, those who want to ask questions. Yes, Master Aditya Shetty, you have been recognized and you can ask question to sir.
Okay, thank you. So many a times when we try to go for self-branding or when we try to display our skills, people think that we are being overconfident or we are overstating our qualities. So, sir, what would you say to such people? And secondly, sir, how can we represent ourselves without thinking about such people?
Okay. So first of all, whenever you're putting yourself out there, it is not about the people that you need to focus on. This is something that we do a lot. We always channelize and we always build or create our things, keeping in mind, what would people think? Would people like it or not? But we are forgetting the fact that if we don't like it, how do you expect people to like it? Right? So you do not have to think about the external community that will be listening to you. Make a good story. Make a few pointers that really resonates with your brand. Be authentic about your story. And there is no reason why people would not like you. But you have to be very careful about one thing. We have this mindset that we want to make everyone happy, or we want to do things that is for everybody. You have to understand there would always be a segment of people which might not like what you are presenting. And that is absolutely fine. You do not have to cater to them, or that few segment of people should not be impacting your authenticity as well. Let's say if you go out to a pani puri guy tomorrow, okay, there's a pani puri stall and there is a dosa stall. Okay, now the pani puri guy is selling pani puri and the dosa guy is selling dosa. Now there are 10 friends of you, all 10 of you, after your tuitions, you go to, we want to eat something, we're very hungry. Some of you would go and eat dosa, some of you would go and eat pani puri, right? Now, it doesn't have, now the pani puri guy doesn't have to cater to the dosa students, dosa liking students, because he's not good at that. He is good at making pani puri, so he's doing his thing, and people who like pani puri are going to him. In the other way, the guy who is making dosa, he is good at his skill, and people who like dosa are actually going to him to have dosa, right? Now imagine if the dosa guy starts making pani puri tomorrow, which is not good for him, or which he does not do. Will the dosa, or will that pani puri taste better as the one who is an experienced pani puri guy? No, right? Because that is not the expertise of the dosa guy. So you figure out whether you want to be a dosa guy, whether you want to be a pani puri guy, whether you want to be a Chinese bhel guy, or whether you want to be a dabeli guy. You choose your skill, you choose your brand, you choose your art, you choose the thing that you're good at, and try presenting it to people. Okay. And why people think you as overconfident? Because people put out beyond what they know about the brand. So here's something that I do. Whenever I learn something, or whenever I execute something, I always put it out there. Okay. I don't put it out there things that I do not know about. So that's when people don't find me overconfident. People find me confident because I always put out things that I have either experienced, I have either known, I have either taught to students like you. So these are the things that really associate, and these are the things I connect with. And that's when people understand, okay, this guy is doing things that he is good at. So I hope this answered your question. Do you do the things that you're good at? Don't try to do anything and everything. Try to do the things that you're good at, and people will definitely recognize you as a good brand. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Now let's move on to the next question. So those who want to ask question, please raise hands. Yes, Miss Vidula, you have been recognized and the floor is open for you.
Good morning, sir. I am Miss Vidula from grade 10th. My question is that we always associate self-branding with entrepreneurship. So is self-branding limited only to startups and entrepreneurship, or is it significant in other professions as well?
It is significant at all walks of life. Let's say, for example, tomorrow you like painting. Okay. Now you haven't made a business for your painting, but you do painting because you like it and because you're good at it, because it's a skill set that you want to grow down the line in life. Although it's not your business at this point of time, but when you paint more and when you gradually start making paintings and give it to other people, now painter is a branding that is associated with your name. Okay. Now, what people would recognize, what, do you know that girl, Vidula? Dude, she paints so amazing. So that's the branding that is associated with your name now. Okay. Now, it cannot be to startup. It cannot be to an entrepreneurship level as well. Now, Vidula is branded as a good painter now. Again, Vidula can be a good singer as well. Now, Vidula might not be making a business out of her singing, but Vidula is actually singing and is actually doing what she likes. Now, whenever people think of Vidula, they'll always be, Vidula, you're here. Please sing one song for us. You should sing a song for us. Okay. Now that's your personal branding. So you have to understand branding is not related to any entrepreneurship or is not restricted to just entrepreneurship and startup. Now people think that whenever we talk about self-branding, there's always one thing that we associate is that branding has to be only in business. No, branding can be anything for that matter. Okay. Let's say any of your faculties, any of your maths teachers. Okay. So if that faculty member is teaching you maths and he's pretty good at that, or she's pretty good at that, their branding would not be associated with teaching English. Their branding would be associated with teaching maths, right? So get off this umbrella that self-branding is just restricted to entrepreneurship and startup. Self-branding is how you present yourself, which are the skill sets that you present yourself out there. That's exactly what self-branding is. Now, if you make a business out of self-branding, if you start an entrepreneurship journey out of self-branding, super better. And then, but that's the road that comes next. But first thing is, even if you're not an entrepreneur, your self brand is always associated with your skill sets. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now let's move to the next question. So please raise hand who want to question. Yes, Aditya Ulpe, you have been recognized and the floor is open for you.
Hello, sir. This is Master Aditya from grade 10th. My question is, what are the assets of a personal branding to a boy or a girl who haven't decided her or his dream, and how school build up his assets?
Great. This is a very good question. And this is one thing that the school and the student have to analyze as well, because it is a major role for all the educational institute to figure out what a child is good at, because we have moved on from the era that we just have to be good in our academics. We have to be good in our academics, undoubtedly. You have to be good in maths, you have to be good in science, you have to be good in English, you have to be good in social studies, all the subjects that is given to you. But it is the sole responsibility of the student and the faculty members as well to figure out what this individual is good at. Okay, so this is something that we need to do and we need to figure out. And this is a very important question. And thank you for bringing this up, faculty members and Aditya. I want you guys to look at what that individual is more interested in, because a lot of times we focus so much in our education. This is not what was there back in our school. Our school had extracurricular activities, but the focus was always on academics and pretty much less on the extracurricular activities that is done. Now, not necessarily everyone has to be a singer. Not necessarily everyone has to be an entrepreneur. Not necessarily everyone has to be an astronaut. Someone can be a great mathematician as well. Someone can be super enthusiastic to apply for civil services. Someone can be super enthusiastic to become a doctor. Someone wants to become an engineer. So these are the things that the college and the students have to figure out in themselves as well. Give them more tasks on that line so that you verify whether this individual is good at what he or she is interested or not. Because, excuse me, because it is not just about the interest. It is about using that interest to make a culture as well. Excuse me for a moment. So evaluate the kid more on different terms. Okay, try to figure out that is this just an interest for the student, or they can actually make a future out of it. It can be in games, it can be anything for that matter. So first of all is evaluation. You guys start evaluating what this individual is good at, and then once you have evaluated enough, this goes for both the faculty members and the students as well. Okay, once you have done with the evaluation, now is the time when, along with the academics, you give them more preference in that skill set as well. Let's say someone is good at drawing. You have figured out, okay, this kid is good at drawing. They can be there's a great potential of being a great artist. You focus your energies in that kid's painting as well, not just in that kid's academics only. If you figure out that someone's very good at sports, you keep on doing the academics, which is very important. Along with that, parallelly, I want you guys to focus on that kid's gaming as well. Give him more opportunities, send him to more tournaments. Give him the playground after the school hours so that he can practice with a coach because he wants to master that art. So evaluation first and execution after that. A good balance of both of this, along with the academics, can actually help foster the kids' education and the kids' interest line as well. So I hope that answers the question, Aditya and the faculty members.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now let's move on to the next. So now we have Janvi, who is eager to ask question. So Ms. Janvi, it is your turn to ask question.
Hello, sir. I'm Janvi from class 10. My question is, if someone isn't actively looking for a job, why should they develop their own brand?
I'll tell you a story. So I was actually recently, some years back, when I wanted to move from one brand, when I wanted to move from one company to another, so what I did was, once I've left the job, I did not search for any job. Okay. What happened is I am pretty active on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on Instagram. I'm pretty active on different social media platforms. Okay. I put out content on sales as well because I'm a sales and marketing professional. All right. So I put out a lot of content on that. So when few people came to know that, okay, this guy just left a job and he's looking for a new opportunity. This job leads, I did not go out there. They automatically came to me. People started coming to me. You know what? I've seen your video in sales. I've seen how you have been branding yourself. I see that you are a good salespeople. How about you come and give an interview in our company and see if it's a best fit for you? Now you see how my branding in communication, how my branding in sales have brought opportunities towards me rather than me going to them. This is the power of self-branding. Self-branding becomes a magnet to a lot of opportunities coming your way. You would never know which opportunity might knock your door, right? Now, I have a business. I have an edtech company where I go to a lot of schools, a lot of colleges, a lot of corporates and teach them about communication, about public speaking. And this did not happen from the initial days. This happened over time when I built my brand to such an extent that people started connecting with me. People started paying me for giving talks in colleges and corporates and doing training sessions to all of them. And that's how my brand helped me getting recognized. My brand helped me get more opportunities. My brand helped me build more revenue, and my brand helped me build more network. So these are the things that your branding would help in getting you more jobs and more people in your network as well. I hope this answers your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now let's move on to the staff member who want to ask question to us, sir. So now we here have our school doctor and counselor, Miss Madhu ma'am, to ask a question.
Thank you very much. Very good afternoon, Mr. Baruwa. Very nice hearing to you about the self-branding. I have one question, being a school doctor and counselor. Communication skills are very effective to connect with the people, isn't it? Now, the students who are from villages, who have the qualities, who have the caliber, how much they should invest their time and energy in improving English for self-branding. My question is, how much language plays importance in self-branding?
Thank you so much, ma'am. That's a great question, by the way. So we have this mindset and we have this notion that people who are great speakers are only great speakers in English, but that's not true. English is a medium to transfer the message. You can be great speaker in Marathi, you can be great speaker in Hindi, you can be great speaker in any mother tongue that you speak. So I have always cleared off this mindset that a lot of people think I am not a good communicator because I can't speak English. That's not true. Now, English is a language and communication is an art. Now, pertaining to your question, it is more directed towards how can people build a brand in English. So it's more restricted to that, because what happens is when we fostered a notion of, you can only be a good communicator only if you speak English, we are actually disregarding majority of the students or majority of the people in our country who are not fluent in that language. And it is such a shameful thing. I mean, I don't find it very good. A lot of people come to me, sir, I can't speak because I can't speak English. I'm like, no, you can speak, you can communicate well, because communication, the principle of communication, if you are able to transmit a message from point A to point B, you can do it through any medium, you are a good communicator, period. Coming back to your question, in order to hone the skill of English branding in your communication, you have to practice it more often. I mean, I cannot emphasize on the practicing part enough. A lot of us are living under the umbrella that we will only hit the stage or we will only speak in front of an audience only when we master the art. But you have to understand, it's a skill. It is not a destination. It is a overall process. If I tell you I'm an expert in English, I'll be absolutely wrong in saying that, because I am learning every day as well. There is always a dynamic environment which is bringing in new things in every skill set, and I am learning as well, and so should you. So one thing that you can do is, as I've told you about the reading and as I've told you about practicing over video, these are the two things that I teach mostly students from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, because they are not exposed to great schools, they're not exposed to great jobs, and these are the things that they can do sitting at their homes. Because once your foundation is strong, then you can level up. You cannot grow from class 1 to class 5. You have to grow from class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 5. There's a whole process of how you do that. So these traits, that's exactly why I was telling all the students to make notes when I'm describing about how to read, how to watch the impactful speakers, and how to practice. That's exactly the reason. When you practice it on a day-to-day basis, give yourself 30 days. Give it consecutively and consistently, do it 30 days, and you will see drastic changes happening. I mean, being all of you faculty members, I would really request you, to really evaluate the students after that, how they have implemented these tricks or not. Because, what happens after seminars, what happens after speeches, this we have done back in our school as well. This is not, the students of now, of this era only. We used to listen to it and go back home. Okay, life is the same. We don't practice it. And these are the mistakes that we have done. And I do not want the upcoming generations to do the same mistake as well, because I'm very young and I can completely relate to the people who are in the school at this point of time, what you guys do and what you guys don't do. So execute and practice it every day. And with this execution, with this practicing, with the things that I've told you today, if you do it drastically, that will lay the foundation of your good English communication. And once you do it every day, and you might think, or a lot of people might think, okay, let's just do it for 30 days. No, you got to do it every day. In your school, in your college, during your job, during your business, all throughout. I have been doing this since probably the last, I think, 7-8 years, since my college. And that's why I see a compounding interest of me becoming a good speaker now. And I still do it so that I can give you back the knowledge and I can improvise my knowledge down the line as well. So these few things done consistently can definitely help people in any remote corners of our country to improvise on their English communication skills. I hope I've answered your question, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're most
Thanks
welcome.
a lot for your amazing and great feedback. Now we have given a great motivation so that our future will be safe and sound. We will surely imply your words in our life. If a receiver does not believe that a source has the best intentions in mind for the receiver will not see the source as a credible. Simply put, we are going to listen to the people who we think truly care for us and looking out for our welfare. It's none other than our all-time motivator and source of inspiration, Honorable Dr. Sardar Jadhav, sir.
Before going ahead, I think Ms. Chitra, madam, she has one question. She raised her hand. So we'll collect one question and we'll give the answer on the honorable case.
Thank you, sir.
Is it okay, Mr. Nizam?
Yeah, absolutely fine. Please.
Thank you so much. Yes, Ms. Chitra, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you once again, sir. Sir, I'm really very impressed by your way of strategies that you have communicated with us for self-branding. But just I would like to know, is there any ingredient or any strategy or tip by which we can cast an impression in the hearts of the people? We can make a room in the hearts of the people by which they will remember us forever. So any such strategies there? Just I would like to know from you.
Absolutely. And that's a great question, ma'am. So, ma'am, I would like to ask you a few questions if you're paying a little close attention. So I've shared 2-3 stories here. Can you recall one of the stories that I've shared?
The Old Man and the Caesar, and really I read it and I liked it very much, sir.
Yeah,
I have read it.
These are the name of the books that I had shared. However, I shared a few of my personal stories, So can you recall at least one of the stories that I've shared, if that's possible? No problem. So I'm gonna tell you one trick that really communicates. So today was more of a value session. So when we do a storytelling session some other time, I'm gonna tell you how to incorporate that. But your personal stories is something that resonates and relate to people so much. That's where the connection happens. Let's say, for example, you guys have a board meeting, okay? And in a board meeting, there are statistics being thrown upon you. This is the growth that we have had. This is the numbers of students and all of that. So, the numbers fade away over time. But when you make a story out of those numbers with the statistics, they retain in your memory for a longer duration. So all the great talks and great speeches that you see, these speeches are more or less their own personal stories by which they are giving out values there. Okay. So when you give out the stories, statistics and values, when these things are aligned in the valuable content, the retention becomes much higher. I'll tell you why our brain works that way. Our brain actually releases a neurochemical, which is known as an oxytocin. So what happens in oxytocin, it's actually known as the empathetic drug. So this empathetic drug is also responsible for better memory. Okay. So when you share stories, people connect more because of the oxytocin that releases from our brain. And when the oxytocin is released, they connect well with your stories. They're more empathetic to your stories. And these stories remain with them for much longer duration. And these values remain with them for much longer duration. So storytelling and the sequence that I've said, story, statistics, and value, this alignment helps you create an ingrained memory or an ingrained imprint in the minds of your listeners. I hope this answered your question, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, a very satisfactory answer, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Most welcome.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir. Now let's move on to our principal, sir.
Thank you so much, Master Kshitij, for this opportunity to me as well. After this beautiful session, what is remaining with me to be commented on? So anyway, before going ahead, I must congratulate to today's guest, Mr. Nizam, for this beautiful session for our students and for this DCPS entire fraternity. What is how the beginning of this new academic year? I would like to tell today's guest speaker that this is just beginning of the academic year, and this is the first event we organized, and it has gone in a very fruitful way. Dear students, as you know that from what he started and for where he ended, I must not use the word ended, but still the show will go on because he has kept us to think more about self-branding, because it's a lifelong process, and it's not like with 30 minutes and 40 minutes we'll grab something and I'll come up as a brand in the market. It's not like that, because he said that it took him 8 years plus to come this position, and again he's learning day by day a lot of things. So the beginning of the academy is so awesome. He started with the pillars for the self-branding, to the communication skills, to the reading, to noteworthy books, to the lot of things he has delivered today. I must appreciate the way he delivered the ideas. Art of delivery is also a different kind of thing, because we are talking about the self-branding, and the person who doesn't know how to brand himself in that way, again, it's a futile discussion. So today, we achieved a lot of skills and techniques. At the same time, the skills of delivering the ideas, it's a noteworthy. And dear students, as you know that when we being a teachers, we have stereotyped curriculum designed by the NCERT, CBSE guides us, the state government monitors us, and we deliver the ideas to you so that you'll become a good student. But after being a good student, after facing the examinations and getting good marks, when you're about to enter into the market, when you're about to enter the society in this universe, there is something which we cannot provide you as being a teacher. And the speakers like today, Mr. Nizam, who works as a bridge between we teachers and the society, we teachers and the entire market. I'm very sure that you must have achieved something today out of his discussion, that along with my study, along with my marks, along with my percentage, I should have these many skills. Unless I do have these skills, I cannot go confident in the society. So it may be my communication skill, it may be my storytelling skill, it may be my exposing myself as a human being. That's very important, because what we teach, there are many students, those who are very learned, scholarly students, they grab everything, they achieve good marks with 90, 95, 99, 100% marks, but they fail to present themselves. I'm very sure from today onwards, you'll at least get a knack of presenting yourself. That is called as self-branding in the society. Because when we are dealing with the cities like Kolhapur and adjoining places, remote areas, when we compete to the metro cities like Pune, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, and all those things, and international places like maybe Washington and all those things, New York. So if you want to compete that, we should know how to present ourselves in a better way. How to impress the person with whom I'm talking. And that is nothing but called as self-branding so far as my knowledge is concerned. And today, fortunately, we got such a eminent personality, and I'm thankful to Mr. Abhishek Undawale as well, HR manager of school, for providing such a person on this platform. And I'm sure that this platform will seem fruitful to all the students and even teachers as well, because even I got ignited after listening to this such a eminent personality. Looking at his age, he has not having that much experience of that, which is there with the so-called the speakers. But the way he presented his ideas, it's awesome. We are assuming that he's 50 years old in terms of experience, and in terms of his actual biological age, he's so, and a lot of things are there. And definitely, Mr. Nizam will think about the storytelling session as well, because we are planning for this for the students. And I'm very much overwhelmed to your ideas of expressing ourselves, the communication skill, the reading skills. Even there are many more things which we had, but we forgot in the course of this teaching and learning process. Maybe before going bed, half an hour book reading, why to be read, what is the output of that, and lot of things discussed scientifically, technically, logically, and in a very systematic way as well. So this, I must say, this session was a very successful session. We'll keep meeting. Please keep guiding to our students and to our staff members as well. We'll have a better associate in future as well. So on this note, I express my sincere thanks to the organizing committee, even for inviting me for the speech and arranging such a beautiful session today of Mr. Nizam on students' self-branding. Definitely, when you'll come again on this platform, when you visit the school, I'm sure that these words of yours will definitely bring a good impact on students, and they will come up with exceptional human beings, and they will deal with self-branding as well. Thank you so much. Over to the organizer.
Thank you, sir. Your words always enlighten us. Now we are at the end of this ceremony, and I request Ms. Sejal to take over the stage and express a vote of thanks. Over to you, Sejal.
Thank you, Kshitish. A graceful and warm afternoon to our most valued guests, worthy teachers, management committee, and most beloved friends. Last but not the least, all gathered over here. It's my great privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this orientation. On behalf of Dr. Cyrus Poonawalla International School and the entire fraternity of the school, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the chief guest who spared time from his busy schedule to motivate us and grace the orientation. As you have said, brand is a magnet that attracts opportunity. Confidence hits everything: reading, vocabulary, sentence formation, non-verbal gestures. I'm very sure that you have encouraged us and will surely work on these things. I especially thanks to our beloved Principal Honorable Sardar Jadhav Sir, our TGT Coordinator Mr. Sagar Parande Sir, PRT Coordinator Ms. Meenal Ma'am, Upper Secondary In Charge Ms. Chitra Ma'am, Lower Primary In Charge Ms. Sanyogita Ma'am, HR Manager and our school doctor and counselor Dr. Madhavi Sawant Ma'am, and all the teachers. So, I specifically thank the people who have been the backbone of the event, our technical arrangement team, and finally, all the students for attending the program. I once again want to state that we are grateful to our chief guest. We thank you for being with us this time. With the synopsis of this orientation, Be Yourself, I declare that this program is over. Thank you very much.
शाहू शिक्षण कुलामधूनी शिक्षण प्रसार घडतो, विज्ञानातून नव्या दमाचा बालक येथे घडतो. महालक्ष्मीच्या छायेखाली शिक्षण यज्ञ हा फुलतो. आबाजींच्या आशीर्वादे ज्ञान तुला झुलतो. शाहूंचा हा विचार